Chapter 3.5 is solving proportions. And so this is we're still working basically with fractions, and it'll help reinforce some of the skills that we have learned about fractions. For instance, we start with 5/7, or 5 out of 7, or 5 of this and 7 of that. It's proportion, so we don't know exactly what it is. X over 21. And sometimes the way to solve is to just think of it as a fraction. And we have this 21 on the bottom, and we'd like to get x by itself. So if I multiply both sides by 21, then I can cancel these ones out. And the reason this is a good idea is because 7 is a multiple of 21. So I'm going to multiply that by 21 and this by 21. My 21s cancel, leaving just the x, or x over 1. And my 21 over 7 becomes 3 over 1, because 21/7 is the same as 3. So we've got 3 over 1 here. So this is basically 3 times 5 equals x. Everything else kind of disappears, which is 15. So x is equal to 15. That's a pretty good way to do it. This is the one way, just multiplying. Another way is using the cross products that we've talked about. Two S's. Cross products. So this gives us an example of x over 8 is the same as 7 in 10. 7x in 8, or x out of 8, is the same as 7 to 10, or 7 out of 10. And we use cross products. Well, for cross products, hopefully you remember, we just multiply the numerator from one side with the denominator of the other, and then we do the same to what's left, and they should be equivalent. If they are equivalent, then it's a true proportion, so we can use that to solve. Real quick, 1/2 is equal to 2/4. We all know that's true. But you can see that the cross products 2 times 2 is equal to 1 times 4. They're both equal to 4. We use the same principle here to solve this. So I rewrite it as 10x, because x times 10 is 10x, is equal to 8 times 7, or 56. So, and then when I divide by 10 on both sides, my 10s cancel, and it leaves me with x equals 56/10. Now you can simplify down to 1, sort of. It doesn't go evenly. You use a calculator, you end up with something that you ought to recognize without a calculator. When you divide by 10, you just move the decimal over. So it's 5.6. And you can use a calculator to check that, or you can just trust me on that one, or you can recognize that I know what I'm talking about here. X is 5.6. Let's try one more just to make sure. 9 over y is the same as 3 over 17. Now this looks like we might need a calculator. That goes to 9 times, or y times 3, or 3y, that's this cross, is equal to 9 times 17. Now 10 times 9 is 90, and 7 times 9 is 63, and if we put them together we get 153. We ought to be able to just use that. So y, 3y, is equal to 153. It's combining those two. Divide both sides by 3, and you get y as a leftover. But we have to figure out how many times 3 goes into 150. Well, 3 goes into 15 5 times, so that would be 50. But we're really going into 153. So it would be 51. Does that make sense? if we go ahead and change this, 3 goes into 153. We still have our 5 here that goes in evenly, 15, and then we bring down the 3, and that goes in once. So y equals 51. Let's see if there's any other examples that we should do. No, I think that'll do it. Good luck. Have fun. This assignment should be actually fairly pleasant.